is at a different level. What I said that it's multidisciplinary, the true multidisciplinary nature, interdisciplinary nature of international tax becomes evident, is visible in the area of transfer pricing. See, transfer pricing. In short, I'll simply write TP. TP, transfer pricing. What is at least TP? Say, what is at least TP? TP, okay, 6 words. 6 words. See, transfer pricing is pricing of intra MNE transactions. Pricing of intra MNE group transactions. 6 words. Pricing of intra MNE group transactions. 6 words. So transfer pricing is pricing of intra MNE group, again accent, transactions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pricing of intra MNE group transactions. What is MNE? MNE is multinational enterprise. Intra, that is within. Fine. I mean, all those 6 words, but then entire transfer pricing is built upon these 6 words. Not getting into the nitty-gritties. So I'll just, what is an MNE group? See, what exactly is a multinational enterprise group? Again, I'll give you an example. Okay, see what happens. Again, you have what? You have, so let's take what? Take A and B. This is A and this is B. 2 countries. Fine. You have 2 countries. Okay, you have right. Perfect. See, AE means associated entity. AE1 associated entity number 1. AE2 means associated entity number 2. And IND, IND means independent entity. Independent entity. Fine. Now, what is the meaning of the word associated entity? Associated entity means these 2 companies, they are firm lines, so they are distinct legal entities, they are companies in country A. AE1 is the resident of country A, AE2 is the resident of country B, independent entity, that is also a company resident in country B. Fine. So why have I written AE1 and AE2? This is because AE1 and AE2, these are associated, they are related. Why they are related? Because they are part of the same multinational enterprise group, right? This is the scenario. This is the case. So this is multinational enterprise group. I'll give an example. MNE group. Multinational enterprise group, MNE group. Google USA, AE1, example. Google USA, AE2, Google India, right? Google AE1, Google Ireland, AE2, Google India. AE1, Nike Luxembourg, AE2, Nike Netherlands, Nike Group, Google Group, Facebook US, Facebook UK, Facebook Multinational Enterprise Group, IKEA Belgium, IKEA Sweden, IKEA Group, Multinational Enterprise Group. So multinational enterprise group is comprised of number of entities, number of companies, and they are associated. Why? Because they are related to each other. That is why they are known as associated entities. There is a technical definition. I'll not get into that. But then I hope you would have understood why are they known as associated, because they are part of the same MNE group. Now you can assume that this is a parent entity, that is this AE1 owns this AE2. Parent and subsidiary, they are related to each other. Fine. So this is a multinational enterprise group, MNE group, and these individual entities AE1 and AE2, they are known as MNEs. So this is MNE, MNE1, this is multinational enterprise MNE2. So MNE1, MNE2, MNE3, MNE4 and so on and so forth. All these MNEs combined together, they create MNE groups, right? MNE group of associated companies. Fine. So this is the MNE group. This is not a part of the MNE group. This is an independent entity, and that is why it has been shown outside this dotted circle, which indicates MNE group. Fine. So coming back to the definition of transfer pricing, what is transfer pricing? Transfer pricing is pricing of, this is pricing of intra-MNE group transactions. Transactional nature of international tax transaction. See the magic happen. Intra-MNE group. Intra is within, inter is between, across. So this is intra. So it means transactions are taking place within this MNE group, right? Transactions. See, transactions are taking place within this MNE group. Transactions are taking place within this MNE group, and transactions might take place across the group as well. Fine. But don't worry, we are focused upon this transaction. We are focusing upon intra-MNE group. So this transaction is an intra-MNE group transaction, right? Okay, fine. Supposing let us for example assume that this AE2 manufactures certain items. Any item. This marker, okay. No, the marker would be quite cheap, right? Quite inexpensive. Okay. Shoes, for example. AE2 manufactures shoes, and this sells shoes for $60 one pair. Fine. The cost, not selling, but the cost of this shoe to this AE2 is $60. Fine. So $60. Fine. So this is the cost, and then this AE2 sells this single pair of shoe to the parent entity AE1, which is the associated entity, part of the same MNE group. To what? It sells this at $100. Right? Okay. So therefore $60 sold at $100. So therefore in this transaction, the net profit is $40. Right? $40. Similarly, this $60 worth of shoe is sold to this independent entity at the same price, that is selling price $100. Fine. So $100. Fine. $60 of shoe sold at $100 to this independent entity. So again in this transaction, the profit is how much? The profit is again $40. Fine. So when you look at the scenario, what has happened? This associated entity was manufacturing an item, has manufactured an item, and this is selling this item at $60. This is selling this item at $100 to an entity which is external to this group at $100, as well as it is selling the shoe at the same price $100 to an entity which is the part of the same MNE group. So $100 transaction, $100 transaction, and this is an ideal situation. All things remaining same because the item is same shoe, same item is getting sold. So there should be no difference. Between the selling price of the shoe to this independent party as well as this independent entity as well as to this AE1. So $100 transaction, So this, if you look at this group, so this transaction wherein the shoe is sold at $100, this is intra-MNE group transaction, and the price at which this intra-MNE transaction takes place $100. This $100 is known as the transfer price. Getting a point? So this $100 is the transfer price at which this transaction between the two MNE groups, between the two MNEs occurs in this MNE group. Fine. So $100. So ideally speaking, this situation wherein this transaction external to the group and this transaction within the group, intra-group, when these transactions are priced at the same level, although it would never happen, but theoretically just assume if this happens, then we would say that this is an arm's length transaction. Arm's length transaction mean to say that this AE, this MNE, multinational enterprise, this company is dealing in a similar fashion with an entity which is external to this group, and it is dealing with an entity which is internal to the group in a similar fashion. Because why? Because the prices are same. Clear? So this is transfer pricing. Transfer of good, transfer of a shoe occurs between AE2 and AE1. This transaction takes place and the price at which this transaction occurs, that is $100. This is known as transfer price. Pretty simple. Is it simple?